If you've ever done any work with sponsorships, with brand deals, with advertising, you know how hard it is to manage all that stuff, to have a place where people can go to see your options, to see your stats, to actually sign up and pay, get invoices, manage communications around it, all of the creative. It's all quite tricky to manage. There's a lot of stuff involved. I found a new tool which can manage all of this for you, or at least help you manage it yourself. And it's called Passionfroot. So in this video, I want to take you through how I'm using it to set up sponsorship for our podcast, Podcraft, and our newsletter as well for podcasters. I'm Colin Gray from thepodcasthost.com, and I'm here to help you to run your podcast and your wider creator business. And this is a big part of it. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at Passionfroot. So as of right now, you still have to apply to get in. They're rolling people in on a slow basis. But once you've done that, you get into this. This is your dashboard. First thing to do is set up the storefront. But a quick little tour, what you've got is a place to talk to your brand deals, talk to the people you're working with. You've got a calendar to deal with what's coming up, sponsorships, when they're appearing, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, a place for payments. You can manage your invoices, your payments there. And also, you've got requests because you can have actually people apply to work with you here so that you can review that and then look at the deals that are coming to you. Really interestingly too, they have a discover space where you can look at people who are setting up campaigns on Passionfroot. So big brands like Notion and the like. We're looking to do that. I'm looking to actually put some sponsorships in here for our products, Alitu, and our courses as well. So you can actually find sponsors through Passionfroot as well. I'll look at that once I've set up the storefront. For now, let's get our storefront set up. Okay, bottom left here, we have a little checklist, always useful. Get a short bio written up. So let's do that first. So if we hover over that, we see they're encouraging us to use this block that's here already. Let's edit that. We've got the podcast host. We often put the podcasthost.com just to make sure. Profile photo. I'll replace that. Okay, so I've put in a photo and a biography. So let's add a channel that would like to get sponsored. So what I'm looking at here is our newsletter primarily. So that's inserted a newsletter block. Nice example there. I like the fact that it's got a real live example that we can then edit. So there we go. Basic details in now. Name, description, and links. So the stats are interesting here. I can come in here and edit the stats. So I'll go in there and you can make that large and small, really to highlight the ones that are important to you. Okay, I've now put in all my stats, updated them. Now sponsors. What kind of sponsorships are we going to run? So we've got classified ads, be a small type of ad, sponsored ad. I think for ourselves, we're only putting in one slot just now per newsletter, although we'd maybe think about putting in more classified ads. I think primarily I've been looking at not adding too many ads because they're hard to manage. But if it turns out that Passionfruit here makes it much easier, which is looking promising, then we would be able to include a few more small ads as well as one main one. So I'm just going to update that now. So it looks like you can keep the price hidden initially so that people can contact you and then you can negotiate a price. But to be honest, I quite like to have a price in mind for this type of thing. And so I'm going to enter that just now too. Okay, I've set that up. We have a minimum 4-issue commitment for sponsorship. So that's what I've put in there as just one product. But you can actually set up just one. So 1 week, for example, and then actually have a package too. And then it could be that product times 2, 3, 4. So if I did want to offer 1 week, I could offer 4 times that if I chose to. I think how I'd possibly use this though in future is multiple products. So if I did have, want to offer newsletter sponsorship plus podcast, plus anything else, I could put them all into one and then actually offer them all as a package and get a discount on that. So that's the basic page set up. I've got the intro, I've got the actual offer, and now people can come and buy this. I'll show you that in a second once I've published it. But just to show you a few of the other options in here, obviously we can add as many platforms as we like. We can have our Twitter, social, any other type sponsored, got YouTube, LinkedIn, and custom channels as well if you actually publish elsewhere. Equally, we've got content, so I can showcase previous partnerships nice and easily. I can do more about my audience. We've got gallery blocks, sponsorship examples. I like that one actually. A little example, you could show an image of the newsletter with a previous one, just to give people a real idea of what it looks like. Can be a really nice way to get rid of any doubt there by showing exactly what people are going to get, set those expectations. It's always one of the best ways to make sure a brand deal or a sponsorship goes well, is people know exactly what to expect. What we need from you as well, so really outline what that sponsorship includes. So lots of stuff in here, some really nice elements. Latest episode too, so we could include our podcast episode there. And live stats too. So we may be able to link this. So we can link it to Substack, we can link it to YouTube, we can link it to Twitter, and really show those live stats as we go along. Give people real confidence in what they're getting. All right, I'm going to hit publish here. Let's see what happens then. So I get to choose my URL. So I'm going to go with our standard, the podcast host, publish that, and then we end up with a link. So if I copy that, pop that in, and you can see our live storefront. So people can now go directly into this, click book now, and actually pay. So that makes it really simple. You see that I set that up in literally just, 5-10 minutes maximum? Somewhere between there. So a really nice way to actually get that all set up and get your sponsorship running. Just to highlight a couple of other things inside Passionfruit here. We've got payments, so you set it up with Stripe, standard kind of payment setup, set up a new Stripe account, link it to there, and then that means that your invoices, payments and all that are handled by Stripe, no worries. One part I'm quite interested in is the calendar. So being able to manage when you have sponsorships. This is something you often have to set up elsewhere to manage. Like say somebody pays for a deal, it's through the month of May, it's currently January. So you have to actually book that in and make sure your whole team knows that that's coming up. So I can set up one of my channels, Podcast Pointers, that product. Our newsletter goes out on Mondays, so I can set up slots on Mondays. And go for that, confirm, and then that actually puts those slots into the calendar. So you can see they're there, but empty. So as soon as somebody buys them, they're approved, then actually you can put them in there. Looks like I can also do it potentially manually too by blocking them off or even deleting those slots. If I want to make sure I'm not going to do one that week, add items. You can add in manual ones as well, external booking. So if you organize something externally, I can pop it in that way. So it's a really nice way to manage your content output, your content calendar, and those brand deals. So here's another nice feature I've just discovered too. You can actually send a proposal to a partner through this. So if we go there, set it as an individual, a business, we can send that through. We can actually pick one of our products. We can pick a couple of slots, propose, right? You want a slot, you want to propose to sponsor the month of April, confirm that selection. You can put in a custom price potentially as well, and then send that through. And of course, you've got a few different things here. You can add in a personal note and send payment request as well, automatically too. So it's almost like sending an invoice, or it is really sending an invoice that people can pay via this link. So that's really cool that you can do that. Create proposal, that would send it through. So it's a really nice way to do that really simply rather than have to bring together an email every single time you want to do that. So there you have it. That's a lightning quick tour of Passionfruit, which I'm starting to explore to help sponsor or manage the sponsorships on our podcast, on our newsletter, on our YouTube channel, all the content we put out there. So I'm going to report back in on this more over the coming months, but really worth a try. Really liking it so far, and it seems like a great tool. And of course, talking of better tools, if you want the best tool to make your podcast easy, then check out Alitu. It includes call recording, audio cleanup, audio editing, both text-based and waveform-based, and publishing. So you can publish your podcast right in there too. That's over at alitu.com. That's alitu.com. Check it out. You get a 7-day free trial and you can see if it suits you. Thanks again. I've been Colin from thepodcasthost.com, here to help you get your voice out into the world, any podcaster, anywhere. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.